Liberate IT is an Oracle NetSuite solution provider that has been servicing Australian and New Zealand companies since 2011.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Liberate IT marketing webinar. And look, I do apologise for the couple of times that we have had to go ahead and postpone this. We don't like to do that, but thank you everybody for your patience. And we've gathered even more people to view this webinar today. So that is obviously a serendipitous thing. Okay, so I won't keep you long. I am Gabrielle. I am the Liberate IT Relationship Manager. And today, as I said, we have our Back to Basics training webinar on marketing. So there we are. I'm Gabrielle. For those that haven't met me, I manage the support team as well as any NetSuite issues post go live. And I'm the person who tends to be behind my desk 24/7. So if you ever need anybody and you can't get hold of anyone, please do just reach out to me. But the person that we're most interested in today is Rebecca Paul, who's not just one of our solutions consultant. Rebecca has been with our company since it started and is fabulous. She comes from a customer background, so she has been sitting in exactly the same place as you all have, and that just gives her an extra level of understanding when it comes to NetSuite and business practices. So I'll just go over a couple of quick housekeeping points. So we're going to record this session, so we can send a copy out to you, and please do feel free to send that copy on to as many of your staff as possible. And do feel free to contact us at any point in time after you've viewed it, or any other of your team members have viewed it, and just let us know if you've got any questions. Now we do have everyone on mute at the moment because we do have a full registration number online today. So if you can use your question box to put any questions. Now, please just type away. We're going to have someone answering questions online as we go through as well. And when there's time, Rebecca will answer a question. If it's a question that is general, and everybody will find value in that. Now, just to let you know as well, there will be some questions that you have that we won't be able to answer right then and there. There'll be some research that goes into the answer, but we will come back to you with the answer to that question. So normally we'll have a question and answer session at the end, but as I said, hopefully we will be able to answer some of your questions along the way as well. And do please just let us know if there's an issue with volume or audio or anything. If you can't see the screen, please do just sing out via the chat box. Right, so I think I've gone through all of that. This is where your little question panel is. Now, please do fire away any question. There's no such thing as a silly question. You can be guaranteed that someone else will be sitting here wanting to know the answer. And also, your questions aren't public. Your questions only come through to myself, Rebecca, and Marielle on our support desk, who's going to be answering questions. So don't worry about that. Right, so that's enough from me. Or just one quick thing just before Rebecca comes online. You can go to our website, which is noted down the bottom there, and just have a look at any events that we've got coming up. There is a library as well where you will be able to see any of our past presentations, our past webinars. And also, just to let you know, the info hub, which comes out, in fact, you would have got one today. Please do just open that up and have a quick look. It's full of tips and tricks. It's also where we put our event registration so that you don't miss out. Do just have a look at that info hub. We are trying to reduce the number of emails that we send through to you. So we're putting them all in one easy to reach space. So enough from me now. Rebecca, are you ready for me to hand over the presenter tool?
I am. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you beautifully.
Wonderful.
I will just put this one. Oh, lovely. Over to you. I shall mute myself now.
Okay, just let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen there, Gabrielle? I know that you just hopped on mute. You can see my screen?
No,
Great.
I
We're
can.
Good to go.
Yep, I can see your home dashboard for Gill Inc. Is that right?
Wonderful. That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. No worries.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everybody. As Gabrielle mentioned, this is a back to basics marketing campaign. We've gone over this last year, but because we've got a lot of new customers on board, we decided to do this one again. And I apologise to the people who have already been sending out campaigns. This is probably going to be a little more basic than probably what you're looking for. What we're really going to do is start right from the scratch, how you set up your account in order to be able to send out campaigns, and we'll run through all of the things that we do before we're ready to send out a campaign. Then we'll talk about selecting our customers and the right sort of demographics and target market, and then go through to actually executing a campaign. So as Gabrielle said, feel free to fire off your questions as we go through, and Marielle will be answering those as we go. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do before we set up, or before we're able to set out our campaigns, is actually do a little bit of setup first. So the first thing we need to do is actually enable our ability to send out campaigns. So we're going to come through to our enable features. And once we get into enable features, we need to come through to CRM. And here we just need to select that we've got the ability to send marketing automation. So this lets us send out our campaigns. So we need to make sure that this is checked, save, and hop back out. Now, the next thing I recommend you will do is have a read of how to optimize, or essentially the title is called Optimizing Email Campaigns. Now, I trust that you all know how to access your suite answers. If you don't, it's through your support tab here. So you click onto support and you can go through to suite answers and type in the suite answer ID 9436, because it's got a lot of really good information on how to optimize emails and how to make sure that your system is geared up correctly to send safe emails, so all your emails won't be going into people's junk folders. And I think it's a really good start to sort of have a read of that. But we'll go through some of these things today. So that ID was 9436. Right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to set up our domain. So you'll all have a domain as part of your website. So Liberate IT's domain is essentially Liberate IT. And that's our domain that you'll be, everyone has a domain for their website and be sending out emails. And it's one of the ways that your ISPs know that your email is safe. So we have to link that with our NetSuite account. There is a lot of steps to go through to do this, so we're not going to cover it today, but you will need to get your IT manager to also assist with this, because they need to get into your domain hoster to do some configuration as well. But there is some help in the NetSuite, again, Suite Answers, and the ID for that is 9422. But where we come to set up our domains is under Site Builder and Domains. So you'll come through, if you haven't got it set up already, then you'll need to create a new domain. And again, the suite answers will run you through the instructions on how to do this, but essentially we're setting up this page just so your system knows that you've got a safe domain. The second thing that we need to do is set up, so your email's not treated as spam, is set up a DKIM. And what this is it's another method of identifying whether your email is spam or not. And there's some steps that you need to go through again to do that. And the ID is 9428. So I apologise that we're not going through those, but there are a lot of steps and they are quite technical. So what we're going to do today is we'll concentrate on the marketing side of it. But those three suite answer IDs, I recommend sort of reading through those and going through those first before you start sending out your campaigns. So just again, those were 9436, 9422, and 9428. So once you've got those set up, you can start setting up some of your marketing preferences. So what we're going to do is come through into marketing and our preferences. Okay, so it's best to sort of go through this, and I'm just going to go through some of the main areas here. The first one is setting up a folder that all of your templates will save into under your document storage. Whether you want to set up a new folder per campaign or whether you're happy to put all of your documentation into one folder, that's up to you. But you've got a default template here to put all your template correspondence and communication in. The other thing we want to do is set up a default reply email address and a default from email address so that they can be different. So you might have one going out from the marketing team, but all replies actually come through to a specific person. That's completely up to you how you want to manage that. Here we select our domain that we've already set up. And then there's a few other things if you're tagging and promotions and managing your lead campaign through there as well that you can set up and have some preferences. The next one is unsubscribe to marketing by default. So NetSuite is treated as a secure sender. It ticks a lot of the boxes in terms of sending out campaigns. So at the bottom of all of your marketing campaigns, there is an unsubscribe box. So because of that, we can choose to just subscribe everyone in that you enter into the system subscribed into marketing by default. If you have this box checked, then by default, everyone that you enter is going to be unsubscribed. Now, with subscriptions, there are 4 different settings. So you've got soft opt-in, soft opt-out, confirmed opt-in, and confirmed opt-out. So soft opt-in is simply someone from your organisation has selected one of your contacts or companies to subscribe to marketing. So that's soft. That's where you've selected that they're subscribed in. Soft opt-out is just the other way. You've set that they're opted out. That is soft. If that actual recipient or that contact selects that they want to be part of your marketing campaign, that is a confirmed opt-in. And again, if they've confirmed that they don't want to be part of that, that is a confirmed opt-out. With soft opt-ins and opt-outs, anyone can change those. So you might have someone soft opt-out and you can easily change them to soft opt-in. If someone has confirmed their setting, they can't be you cannot change them. The only way that you can change those settings is if you send out a resubscription opt-in message to that contact and they change their preference. That's the only way that it can be changed. So once they're confirmed, they're the only ones who have the ability to change that. If you've got all of your contacts set to soft opt out, we'll go through shortly on how you can do a mass update to put them all through to soft opt in. So what we do at Liberate is we have everyone as soft opt in, and then when we send out our first campaign, they can either choose to opt in or opt out. The next one that I want to just mention is the opt-in invitation message. So NetSuite has a standard opt-in invitation and opt-in confirmation message, but you can also have a custom message. So you can write your own message. Otherwise, if you're happy to go with the standard NetSuite message, then you can just select which one you want. And the same with the opt-out. You can have custom or go with NetSuite standard confirmation message. And those are the main settings that we need to set up. The next thing we need to do is set up some secure and validated email addresses. So before you can send out a campaign, you need to have at least one email address entered and validated. So as in this company, we've got A Wolf. Now, it doesn't matter how many email addresses you have in here that are validated. You might decide to have everyone within the company to be in here. And it's very easy to set up. We simply click on New Email. We enter the email. So if I enter myself, I hit save, I'm going to get an email. So that'll go through to my email address. I click on, and it will have a link in there. I'm going to click on the link, and it will have a code. The code automatically populates. We hit save, and then I become validated. So until I've done that, I will be sitting here unvalidated. As soon as I'm validated, it means I can send out campaigns, or my name can be come from the sent or the reply to email address. Any questions so far, Gabrielle?
Yes, one question that Marielle is just answering at the moment, but there's another one as well here that you might be able to answer, Rebecca. For confirmed opt-in, once a person from the opposition subscribes, is there any way to remove them? That's a good question.
It is a good question. There isn't, and the only way to do that would be to remove them from your subscription list. So, sorry, not your subscription list, your saved search when it comes to actually sending out the campaign is to make sure that they're not part of your subscription list. So when we come through to picking who our groups are and who we're sending our campaigns to, I'll show you how to do that. But unfortunately, because someone has confirmed, we cannot change what their preference is.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca. The other question, Marielle sort of halfway through answering, so we'll just leave that one for the time being. And that's it at the moment. Everyone is listening attentively.
Wonderful. Okay, so some of the other things that I just wanted to go through. So we're all set up physically now to send out campaigns. The next one that is quite useful to go through is our subscriptions. So subscriptions are a really great way to target your campaigns. So you can have different subscriptions that people can opt in and out of. So you might, for example, have an events subscription or an events category. You might have product updates. You might have billing information. You might have general company information, and different people can opt in and out of different subscriptions or different campaigns. So, for example, Liberate IT, we have one that's based on events. So, all of you who are, attending this have subscribed into the events campaign. Then we might have different ones that are on product information. So they're updates from NetSuite that some of you may or may not have opted into. So it's a really great way. So when you, instead of having a one catchment that a person is going to opt into all communication that you send, they can opt in and out of stuff that's relevant to them. And that's really important when it comes to information such as billing, because only the people who are in accounts teams obviously want billing information. So it's just a nice way to segment your data. And what will happen is, as soon as you set up campaigns, that will automatically go as part of your subscription. So now, instead of people just opting in or out, they're opting in or out to different categories, and that will show on their record as well. And then when we come time to sending those campaigns, you get to select what subscription that campaign is going out to. So that's a nice one to set up as well. Okay, so one of the last things that we need to do is run through just quickly how to customize your opt-in message. So if you've chosen under marketing preferences to have a custom opt-in and opt-out message, we need to go and actually customize that message. So where we're going to go is Setup, Company, and right down the bottom here, under the email, to System Email Templates. So in here is a whole lot of templates that the system automatically sends out. And we've got here, custom opt-in confirmation message. So we just simply edit this message. Just wait for that to load. And we can then pick our subject and write our message. So you can make it a lot more formal, and you can also use, their name, all sorts of information to make it really personable. You can put, company logos and all sorts of things in there. So it's just a nice way to customize that message. So that's where you'd go to find how to customize those messages. And one last thing, if when you go to set this up, if you've realized that all of your customers and contacts are set up as soft opt-out, and you want to select them to soft opt-in, there are essentially two ways that you can do that. You can send your existing customers an opt-in email, and you can do this via the email campaign. Or you can do a mail merge, and because both of those will have the link to subscribe in the footer. Or another way is you can export all of those records, change them to opt-in, and re-import them. But doing a mass update or a mail merge is just as successful. Okay, so now we're going to go in, now that we've sort of set up the system in order to send out your campaigns, we're actually now going to set up and do a first campaign. So we're going to come into lists, down to marketing, and the first thing we need to do is set up our template. So I'm going to create a new template. And we're going to send a campaign. Now, there are different types of campaigns. If you know HTML and have a bit of scripting knowledge, absolutely more than, go ahead with these different templates. I'm just going to select the blank scriptable template. So the first thing we want to do is set up a name for this template. So I'm going to call it October Welcome Email. There we go. And it's going to send a preview email to yourself. So every time you go into it and you save it, it will send you to your email address a preview so you can see what that looks like. So what's the subject? So it's going to be October welcome. Or actually, I don't need to put October, I'll just put welcome. Now, there's two different ways that you can create a template. The first way is through the text editor. So if you're writing a nice letter to someone, you can just type, good morning, and you can use, any one of these fields to make it, bold and nice and pretty and put in images. Or what you can do is if you have additional programs, maybe like InDesign, or you've got a third-party company, excuse me, to make a template or a flyer or a newsletter for you, you can actually attach that and send that as is. So it just needs to be an HTML document. So I'm actually going to do that this time. So I'm going to click on File, and I want to click on New. I'm going to choose my file, the desktop, choose this one, and save. So now what this is doing is we've had someone external create a flyer. I've saved it to my desktop, and now I've attached it into NetSuite, and this is the template that's essentially going to send. So now I'm going to, what I can also do is under marketing, I can say who it's from. So here on this specific one, even though under marketing preferences, we selected a Wolf to be the main person, the default person to be from and the reply to email addresses, on particular campaigns, you can actually select which one it's going to go out from. We can also, if I had a domain set up, that would come through, and here I can set up if it's from a specific subscription. So where I talked about earlier about the different types of subscriptions, I can limit it here, or I can keep it open, and when I go to send out my campaign, I can say who it's going to go to. So either way, I like to keep it open here, and then when I'm up to sending my campaign, then I can select who I want it to go to a bit more specifically. So I'm now going to hit save. And so now I've created that template. So that template is sitting here, and when I'll just pull this up. It's now sitting in my file cabinet, and I'll open up a copy of this. So you'll all notice that this is the Info Hub. This is the template that we actually sent out this morning in exactly the same way as what I'm talking about now. So this was designed in another software, and it goes out just like this. So we'll close that. So now we've set up our template. The next thing we need to do is select who it goes out to. So I trust that you're all familiar with how to create saved searches. So what I've done is I've created a saved search because I want it to go out to my New Zealand contacts. So I've got a list of 78 contacts, and you really can set your own preferences in here. One of the things I'd like to point out is it does not matter if the people in this saved search have email addresses or not. You want them to be included in the search. So what you don't want to do is put criteria down if they've got an email address or not. Because what will happen is if you start to cleanse your database, and you're entering those email addresses, you actually want to see who's part of the list but not getting the email. So it's best to leave those people into the save search and then remove them, and as you start to come through, the campaign will only send obviously to the people who have email addresses. So try and keep that out of the criteria. Now, the question earlier about how to remove maybe competitors from receiving your emails is to go through here and put some criteria around that. So maybe you could list down some of those contacts if you know that they're in your database. But bearing in mind, people who opt out or opt in or out to emails, they need to actually be in your database and they need to have received email communication from you. So if they're not in your database, then they won't be opting in or out. And if you haven't communicated to them through NetSuite, again, they won't have received any communication, so they won't get the chance to opt in or out. But if you've got some contacts that have done that, then here through the criteria in your save search is where I would recommend that you do that. So for this save search, I've just made it really nice and simple. I want to find all of the contacts that are based in or that are from our New Zealand subsidiary. And I've got obviously their name and their phone number, email, all sorts of information about them. So I've set up a save search. What I need to do is actually create a group. So what I'm going to do is come through to relationships, groups, and create a new group. So a group is essentially the recipient for your save search. So there are two types, or who it's going to go to. So there are two types of groups. You've got a dynamic group and a static group. So a dynamic group is based off a save search. So that's what we've just done now. So what I'm going to do with a dynamic group is I'm going to link it to a save search. And as new people come in, it's going to dynamically add those people to my campaign. If I picked a static group, that means I go through and I specifically pick who I want to be in that group. And for someone new to come into the group, I have to come in and actually physically add them into the group. Where this is really handy is if you have maybe internally a test group for marketing campaigns. So before you send out every campaign, you might have a test group and it goes to 4 or 5 people. That's, you obviously want that to be static because you want it to go to the same, 4 people every time. So that's where you'd have a static group and a dynamic group. So we're going to have a dynamic group and I'm going to do it to contacts. So I'm going to continue. And I'm going to call this New Zealand contacts. And I'm going to link it to my save search. So here are all my contacts here. And we can see that they're soft opt-in. There'll be some in here that are hard opt-out, hard opt-in, soft opt-in, soft opt-out. There'll be all sorts in here. Some will have emails, some won't have emails. But this is all the people that it has the potential to send to that meet the criteria. So we're now going to save. Okay, so we've got our template, we've got our groups, we've got everything we need. So now we're actually going to go off and get that campaign sent. So we come back through to marketing and we're going to create a campaign. So this campaign, I'm going to call it Welcome Emails. So every month, so for the purpose of this, every month I might send our new contacts a welcome email. So this campaign, you do not need to create a new campaign for every email that you send out. So I might just call this welcome emails, and every month I come into this one and I send my new campaign or my new email out, but I can use the same campaign. So you can send a campaign. If you had product updates, you might have a product updates campaign, and every time you go to send an email about product campaigns, you just come into here and send it. Or you can choose to have a new campaign per email you send out. It's really up to you and how you want to run that. But you can, you're not limited to just using it once. So we can have start and end dates. If you are using this to capture leads, or using it to put in promotion, if you've got promotion codes in your emails and you're using that to capture sales, you might have 10% off discounts, and if you're using that along with promotions, you can put in information such as how much the campaign cost you, what your expected return of investment is, and you can get a lot of really good metrics around that. For the purpose of this, I'm keeping it, as we said, really basic and simple, and it's just about sending out campaigns. Because the next step would be, once you're familiar with how to send out campaigns, is to getting a little bit more technical and adding maybe promotion codes, linking that to your website, and then you can sort of start to get some really good key return on investment and analytic information. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out our campaign. So it's going to our target group. So that was New Zealand contacts. The template was October welcome email. So the title will come up. Now this is our subscription. Because I've got subscriptions on, I need to set up one of our subscriptions. So this is going to be a newsletter. So you might have people who have opted in on your New Zealand contacts search, but they're not opted in to receive the subscription newsletters. They might be in product updates or something else. So that's where you really get to tailor and focus in on specific people who are really interested in those specific campaigns. Okay, so we've got our campaign all set up. We can choose the date. So I want to send it next Wednesday we might have, we'll send it at 5 p.m. Okay, so I can have as many lines down here as I want. So I might have another target group that I want it to go to. I might want to send it out to New Zealand suppliers, but the same template, or I might have a different template. Or I might want to send it to the same New Zealand contacts template, but a different subscription. I'd just do a separate line. So that's all set up. Now, one of the things that I need to sort of run through is the statuses. So you can set up a status and it's not started. If you're planning it, you can set it to planning. So that means it's not going to do anything. It's just sitting here. When you're ready for it to send, you need to set it to execute. So even if the day comes and it's set to planning, nothing will happen. Your campaign won't send. You need to set it to execute before your campaign will send. So we set that to execute. Okay. And now the campaign is all sitting there ready to send. And we're going to hit save. And because this is a demo account, it's not saving because I don't have something set up in the background. But that's essentially how we're going to set up the campaign. So as soon as that's set up, it will be sitting here in our list of campaigns. Once it's sent, you'll start to have information on how many people have clicked through, what your click-through rates are, So I'll come through here and we'll look at some of the demo analytics that you get. So when we look in here, we can see some of this information if it's relevant to the campaign that you've just sent. But we can also see, this one's not a very good one to go into, but you can see the number of people who have opened it, what that percentage is. If you've got a link to something, how many people have clicked through to the link, the percentage, if anyone's responded, so if anyone's replied to the email, how many people have unsubscribed, and also how many people have bounced. Now that's really, really good to do on a, every time sort of you run a campaign, you can see it on that specific campaign. But again, with NetSuite, there's a whole lot of information and reporting and analytics that you can do. So all of the reporting can be found down in under marketing. Under marketing, so we've got campaign return on analysis information, campaign response, all sorts of information here, click-throughs, and again, the reports that NetSuite have as standard are just a start, and you can really go in and customize your own to show information that's relevant to you. But as you can see here, you can look down in detail, you can customize this and really sort of get some really good key analytics out of that information. So that sort of brings us up to the end of our quick run through. Is there any questions, or is there anything that anyone sort of wants to see specific to this, to what we've sort of gone through today?
Marielle has gone through and she's answered the questions that have come in, but I think, yes, that's a really good one, Rebecca. Just if there is anybody, if you're able just to quickly type in a question or something that you would like Rebecca to demo now, because we do have a little bit of extra time, please do just send that through. But otherwise, everything sort of up to date, Rebecca, has been answered, and so
okay.
Yeah, we'll just sort of stand by and see if anybody has anything extra. Just if anybody wants some information, Rebecca, on taking things further with marketing, where is the best place for them to go to at the moment?
Great answer. So NetSuite has an absolute mountain of information. So everything I've run through can be found either through the help desk, the help section of NetSuite, or your Suite Answers section. So in here, when we come under marketing, so there's a section here, marketing, and it goes through absolutely everything. How to capture leads through online forms, marketing information, how to, paid search words, all sorts of information is all in here. As you all know, NetSuite information is fantastic, but you can get lost in it. So I sort of recommend starting out basic with marketing. Once you've got a good understanding of how it runs, you've had a few goes yourself, then really get into this. There is so much help in this section for marketing. It's really great. They've also got some short, very sort of 5-minute videos also in Suite Answers. So that's another place to go and have a look at. They've got best practice documentation as well. So I would recommend that you all go and have a look at Suite Answers and Suite Ideas. There's some really good information in there. But again, the help menu is a fantastic place to start.
Wonderful. So we have got a couple of questions that have come through. So we have one here. As I spoke, the ever efficient Marielle is answering the questions.
Wonderful.
So, Marielle, just to ask you, do you think there would be any questions that have been asked that it would be good just to share the information with the general audience? I know you're probably busy researching the answer to a question, but if you're able just to pop on quickly, Marielle, and just let us know if there are any questions that have come through that you think would be good to share with the general audience, then that would be good. I mean, people can send us questions through too, can't they, Rebecca? And we can sort of pop those through to the support desk, who are always sort of happy.
Yep, absolutely.
I suppose
Wonderful,
there's one question where the user should
Hi,
ask
Marielle.
if, hi everyone, how can they manage their own preferences? How can subscribers manage their own preferences? And if you're using subscription categories in NetSuite, so customers can choose which subscription they want to subscribe to, or which category they want to subscribe to. And this was mentioned by Rebecca earlier, but I guess it's just something that is worth mentioning as well. So yeah. And
yeah, that's great. And I can go and show. That's a great idea. Let's go and find one of my New Zealand customers. And we can actually show how that looks on a contact record. So under our marketing tab, we've got a tab here called subscriptions. And so this is where we can see that someone might be soft opt-in, but they may have opted in or out to the specific category. So this is where you can really define what you want to opt, or what your contacts and customers want to opt in and out of.
if the customer has already confirmed to opt in, but I think their option, or the question was, is there a way to remove them? And I know that you've answered this earlier as well.
Yeah, you have to send them a new subscription, a new opt-in message, or a opt-in confirmation message, and at that point they can choose to opt out. That would be, the easiest way to do it. If you don't want them to receive communication anymore, they may have left, or you may not want them to. And that contact record is no longer relevant, you can always inactivate the contact record at a last resort, but the only way to remove their marketing preference is to resend them an opt-in message.
Perfect. Well, the only other feedback that came through, Rebecca, was from someone who had to leave, that said thank you so much for the fantastic webinar. So we could let everyone sort of have a 10-minute, extra 10 minutes in their day to go and maybe make another coffee. There's nothing else that's come through now. But everyone, just to let you know again, we'll send through a copy of the webinar, and please do send any questions through to us or send them through to support. Remember, everyone who is with Liberate IT, you get a free hour of support to contact our wonderful Mana Marielle every single month. So this might be a way to quickly use up the very end of your October time asking Mana Marielle a question. But also on that, please just be reassured, if any questions come through, we're not going to charge you for that anyway. But look, thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you for coming on and running through that for us. And yeah, just as I said, guys, please do send any questions through, and we'll point you in the right direction to get those resolved as soon as possible.
We hope this video gave you the information you were after. If you have any further questions, get in touch with us using the links in the description. At Liberate IT, we can provide free consulting to understand your business system requirements, understand your company growth plans, and provide free NetSuite demonstrations. For more information, visit our website.